All right, folks, welcome to our next adventure. This one, unfortunately, leads us here to Midlothian. You're going to see the sign behind me. We're at Creekside Church, right here off of Highway 287. That's why you hear all the cars to the right of me. And I was here on April 18th, the very early morning hours. The body of fitness instructor Terry Missy Bevers was found here inside of this church. Now, surveillance videos do show an unknown person in police tactical gear walking these halls, breaking glass, opening doors, and the police do believe that that was Bevers' murderer. So we're going to kind of walk around, tell you the story, show you where he potentially broke in.
3, 2, 1.
It's been a tumultuous 5 years for Brandon Bevers.
Having this being prolonged, it's been very difficult for us and the kids and Missy's family in particular.
On April 18th, 2016, Brandon's wife and mother of his 3 daughters, Missy Bevers, arrived at the Creekside Church in Midlothian around 4:30 a.m. to prepare for her Camp Gladiator class. 30 minutes later, her students walked in to find Missy dead. Brandon was on an annual fishing trip in Biloxi, Mississippi, when he got a call from one of Missy's students who was at the church.
He told me, he said, Missy's no longer with us. And I didn't know.
As he made his way back to Texas, police in Midlothian were on the scene and stunned at what was captured on video cameras inside the church. A suspect roaming around dressed in what looked like police SWAT gear.
It certainly is a strange occurrence at this time of morning for a church to be burglarized early in the morning.
That same day, Chief Carl Smith released the video.
That was something we wanted to push out as early as possible so that we could deal with it up front.
Police wanted the community to take a close look at how the person was dressed and how they walked. The video went viral and the department was swamped with thousands of tips.
Because it grabbed the nation's interest, it was a mass amount of data coming in from incredible sources.
Police who didn't go on camera escorted an ATF K-9 team into the Creekside Church of Christ to look for any clues.
Federal, state, and local agencies poured over the tips and evidence, but none of it has panned out.
It is difficult to believe that 5 years later that we haven't made an arrest.
To this day, police aren't able to say if the suspect is a man or a woman.
I just assumed it was a guy, you know, it's just kind of a generic painting of the brush on that, but I think it's a woman. I definitely think it's a woman.
That's another one that is very difficult to tell because of the clothing. It doesn't accentuate any type of feature, it hides features.
The video shows the suspect was in the church at least 30 minutes before Missy arrived. At first, it looked like a burglary, but nothing was stolen.
The fact that this person was willing to spend the time to dress up and overcome being on video, those kinds of things, that tells me that there's a little aspect of vindictiveness in that.
But who would want to kill the young mother of 3 who by all accounts was loved in the community?
She was awesome. She was really sweet. You could tell she was humble.
Brandon at first wanted to believe this was a random act, but over the years has changed his opinion.
I've flip-flopped on this over the years, but I can only offer an opinion based on insight, and I kind of feel she was targeted.
Police have looked at several persons of interest. In fact, Brandon and his father were investigated. It's taken a toll.
You know, I've been through counseling. I've had psychiatric treatments for PTSD and anxiety and things like that.
Police say without a suspect, it's been hard to come up with a motive or even a theory on what happened and why Missy was murdered.
I would tell you that we have not ruled out or confirmed one path or the other.
The department is still treating this like an active investigation and not a cold case. They've hired new detectives to take a fresh look at the evidence and re-interview the witnesses. Meanwhile, one of Missy's former co-workers started a podcast a year ago to keep the case in the public eye.
I think fresh eyes is always helpful. You know, sometimes you can look at something so long that it makes you dizzy or cross-eyed, and then somebody else comes along and goes, right there.
But with little evidence, will there ever be justice for Missy?
Do you think it will be solved?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As time goes on, Brandon Bevers says he holds on to the memories and still has the last message Missy left on his phone the night before she was killed.
Does it comfort you?
It does, because when you hear it, it embodies her personality, you know? And that's what I remember the most.
There's the sign, Creekside Church, again off Highway 287 here in Midlothian. Now a little background on Missy. She was born August 9th, 1970 in Graham, Texas. She was wedded to Brandon Bevers in 1998. Now Missy was a mother to 3 daughters, and the family resided in Red Oak, Texas, only a few minutes away from the church. Made her way over to the side of Creekside Church. Now it's right here. On that morning, that's where Missy pulled in. Again, it was raining outside, so she had to pull in under this awning. That's where she started to unload all the mats and everything to get ready for her workout. So it was right here where she pulled under. That's where her truck was found as well. Now I can't say if the murder happened right in those doors, but those are the doors she went in. Right there to unload. See if I can get a little bit of the inside. Again, there's going to be a glare, but that's supposedly where she was murdered. Now, didn't see anything online to confirm this, but this is where she was taking the workout mats in, right here through this door. Now you're going to see in one of the pictures, this door was vandalized. All the windows were busted out by the intruder. Now, I'm not sure if that's where he actually went in. But there's another door I'm going to try and find and show you. That's the one that was seemed to be more broken into, because it had pry marks on the outside. So here's the thing. That morning of the murder, police tried to turn their eyes to the outside surveillance cameras, but unfortunately, they were not working that day. Now inside, again, you're going to see the inside surveillance cameras. Now, the tapes did appear to show the suspect of an unknown gender and identity walking in the church hallways, smashing glass with the hammer to break in various doors. The suspect wore a SWAT police outfit and tactical gear from head to toe, including a police-marked vest, black helmet, black pair of gloves. Now again, on that morning, Missy was in the midst of transporting her exercise gear from her truck into the church, and apparently that's when she met the subject. Now, first, investigators thought the subject could be feminine because it did have feminine aspects. So, I don't know, you can look at the surveillance and judge that for yourself. I don't think so, but I don't know. It looked like somebody who may have had an injury to me. Initially, police investigated this as a burglary motive, but they were unable to find anything missing, implying that the suspect did not steal. See if we can see down the other end of the hall. See that door at the end? That's where we were looking in initially. Now we've made our way to the other side of the building. The suspect appeared to walk very slowly through these halls, and sometimes even trouble moving his right foot or leg. Now, as usual, Bevers' relatives were questioned. Of course, her husband was questioned, Brandon. And like I said, Missy's husband, Brandon, and also her father-in-law, Randy, were both questioned, but their alibis ended up checking out. Brandon was out in Mississippi fishing while Randy was in California on travel. Now, unfortunately, this case is still unsolved. Initially, the reward was set for $10,000, doubled up to $20,000, and then rose to as much as $50,000. Now, as of 2021, the reward is for $150,000 for information potentially helpful in capturing this suspect. We're in the very, very front of the church. Let's see if we can kind of get a glimpse inside. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how it's going to come across, but you can kind of see in the center of your screen, it says Creekside Church. That's where the intruder, walking all up and down these halls, opening doors, smashing windows with that hammer. I found the other window that was busted out. Right here. There's that window, and you're going to see in the picture, it's the one boarded up. You can tell this is the window. You see that white line kind of almost down at the bottom, kind of heading to the right of your screen. And you can tell this is the window because you can also see that in the police photo as well. That, as well as those little rusty, I guess they're drains, looks like it, right below the window. So there's the window the intruder busted out as well. All right, that does it from here at Creekside. We're gonna head over to the gravesite where Missy's buried. That's probably about a 10-minute ride from here, so we're gonna go check out her burial site. We made about the 10-minute trek out here to Ovilla, Texas. Right over here behind this church, Shiloh Cemetery. Missy Bevers' final resting place is inside. Now this gate's closed, but there is an opening over to the right, an actual entrance. Let's take a look at this marker. Gives you a little bit of Shiloh's history. More than welcome to pause the video and read that if you like. Right out here in front of the cemetery, got this little marker. This is Shiloh Cumberland Presbyterian Church. Beautiful grounds. All right, let's head inside. The cemetery is closed from dark until daylight. If you plan on coming here to visit the gravesite, I mean, I don't see why it would even close. There's no door or gate on this entrance, so it's very well maintained. You kind of walk through here, very quiet out here. There's a boot. Let's go see what that is real quick. It's over here by this bench. Not sure what this is. Oh, it's a birdhouse. Right there. Whoa! There's a gigantic wasp coming out of it, so we're going to go ahead and back up. But yeah, it's a boot birdhouse. Giant wasp hanging out. Actually, if you look at this side of the cemetery, a little more well maintained. This side, a lot of overgrown grass and weeds. So I don't know why they didn't mow this side. The left side, pristine. Right side, a little straggly. I think we may have found it. It's pretty distinct. I mean, it's the marker's, you know, a regular size marker, but it does have a flat top on it, like almost like a flat surface. So I think this is it right here by that bench. Yep, here it is. It's in the back of the very back of the cemetery in a nice shaded wooded area. There she rests right there. Very unfortunate. Terry L. Missy Bevers, loving mother, August 9th, 1970 to April 18th, 2016. I can't make out what that verse says at the very bottom. It's a little faded. See if there's anything on the back. Nope. I do have some trinkets right here on top. Rest in peace, Missy. This is very unfortunate this happened. Young, mother of 3. Seemingly had a great life. It's just unfortunate this happened. Hopefully the person who did this will be caught sooner than later. All right, we were able to get that cleared off. So what it says down below, the verse is, "It is well with our soul, go boldly." It just needed a good dusting off. Right here, I didn't get this. The bench next to it has Missy on it. All right, folks, this about does it here, Shiloh Cemetery. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below what you think of this whole unfortunate tragedy that happened back in April of 2016. Anyway, we'll see you next time.